Hello, Cougar fans. This is Dan Gandler, Sports Information Director with University of Sioux Falls head football coach Jed Stugart. The Cougars are coming off a tough loss yesterday, but looking forward to a game this weekend with Upper Iowa. Game time is at noon. Jed, reflect on the game a little bit yesterday and some of the positives that you saw out of it and what happened in terms of some of the mistakes we made.
Well, Dan, it's hard to find positives just because the positives were we offensively, we moved the ball through the midfield, we get close to the red zone and take a sack or snap a ball over our head, or we drop first down catches in the first half, first quarter that stalled drives. And so we didn't get started fast, and we didn't get points on the board when we needed to. So yeah, there's some positives that we moved the ball a little bit, and then but the mistakes overcame us. And I I've had a really weird time processing this because when I know we had a good week of practice. I feel like the guys had good game plans. And sometimes you're going to have. I had a good friend text me today, a coach, that just says sometimes momentum comes and you can never get it back, and it just seemed like we never got any, and we had fluke things, balls ricocheting off of guys and landing in their hands in the end zone for an interception, and so some days you have those things. I'm not going to chalk it off to like, well, we didn't do anything wrong, it was all bad things that happened to us. No, we created those things as well. Defensively, just talking to the defensive coaches, I think people were overcompensating in some areas. We've been stressing do your job. We lost a lot of one-on-one battles in some spots that we normally don't. And I think and it's interesting, the explanation from the coaches were that guys were almost trying too hard to make a play, and so. When you take all of that, there's two things that happens in losses like this. I don't know in my head coaching career I've experienced a loss like this, so it's all new to me. And so two things: either a team just quit and gave up and just couldn't wait for it to be over, or they were still fighting and trying. It's just we couldn't get a play made, and I think it's the latter. I'm not going to be disappointed in our team. I can be disappointed in their effort, but I'm proud of the fact that they, through the fourth quarter, even to a goal line stand in the fourth quarter by our defense, that they were still playing for pride and trying to fight their tail off. And I guess that's all you can ask for. I think when you can't have a game like that against a team like Mankato, who is refocused. I mean, I think their loss refocused them as well. They've bounced back and had two incredible games. Their defense is very good, probably better than I remember last year. They're playing really well, and offensively they've kind of gone to the air a little bit, and I thought we did positively. I think we did stop them a little bit in the run game, but we got hurt in the pass game. So anyway, yeah, some positives to take out of it, but we're gonna bounce back, go back to the drawing board, and get a game plan and get these guys ready for Upper Iowa.
In a game story, I kind of put up there. Sometimes there are games that you want to forget or have a short memory, and in a 44-3 game, there's always something to learn from it, but there's also, you got to have a short memory because you have a turnaround week, a big week this week for you, going up to Upper Iowa. Last time we were there, 30-28 defeat, and even though they're without their quarterback, they showed some fight yesterday coming back. Talk about what you need to do to be successful this weekend up in Fayette, Iowa.
Well, first of all, we got to beat ourselves after a loss like that. So I think over the weekend, guys were hurting. They don't like being embarrassed like that. We were embarrassed, and so yeah, you got to have a short memory. So number one, I think to bounce back, we got to come back and have a good practice on Tuesday. Just kind of right now breaking down Upper Iowa, so haven't seen a lot of them yet personally. But I looked at their score, I looked at how they came back, and I looked historically. They do have a different defense this year than they had last year, but offensively they still do what they do. We've got to fix defensively we've got to fix things in the pass game, in our coverages and not let guys free like we did yesterday. And then offensively, we got to get out of this funk and go score points like we're used to doing. We got to catch balls. We got to protect, and our quarterback's got to deliver. So all three phases offensively, we played poor. And if we played poor, I don't remember this team ever just scoring 3 points only. It's a weird deal.
It's never happened in your time here.
Yeah, it's never happened here, but for me, but I think watching us come back off of our last loss, we refocus quickly, and I can see us doing that again.
You have a lot of seniors, especially on the defensive side of the football. Do you think that senior leadership steps up this week for you?
Yeah, because I've already talked to some of them, one of them in particular, and that's the first thing is, Coach, we're going to get this fixed, we're going to do it. And so I think on our team, what I love about our staff and with our players is that we talk family around here, so we're not afraid to explain to our players that we're part of that too. We as a staff, we have to fix. We got to look within ourselves too and figure out what we can do, and not just say, "Hey, you guys didn't go out and play well." We got to make sure that we've prepared them, and that's what's cool about the accountability on this staff, and our players know that. And so we all want to work together, and I don't think our teams. They didn't get a butt chewing after the game. They didn't do because, like I said. Maybe that had happened if they didn't have any fight in them. But they were frustrated. They were making errors, trying to fight, and I respect that. And we can still be disappointed in the loss, but I'm not going to go as far as saying I'm not proud of them. I'm proud of their fight.
You talk about family all the time. I mean, it's something that's been a consistent since you've been here. Yesterday in the pregame, you talked about how they're your family and you love them, and there's an ability for them to lean on each other and the coaching staff to lean on each other just like a family does. You need to lean on family members, so as you move forward that resilience will come out because of that connectedness, right?
Well, I think there's some teaching that goes along here. I've been in my career, I've been places where after a loss like this, maybe the whole coaching staff would be in at 7 o'clock on Sunday morning because we've got a major problem. And that means coaches leaving their families to come and all of a sudden start grinding out. And we're not going to do that either. The reality is the reason why we talk family around here a lot is because I want, hopefully, the kids that come to this program will recognize the priority of family from us as a staff, and that we still come into work at the same time, but we're all of a sudden not going to just start abandoning our families at home and stuff. To all of a sudden, we're going to still do what we do. But I don't know that there's a family out there that's perfect. You're going to have some adversity. You're going to have things that you got to overcome, and there's no difference here. And we feel like. We have something that we can learn from this loss, and right now the part you got to do is go search what that is, and so that's what we're doing. We're searching through the lessons we can learn, so we can teach our family and we can become better out of it, and that's why we got to lean on each other.
Every week we always look back at a player that. Honestly had a good game, and in a lot of respects, I mean, he's a senior going out, and then there's a junior. Two guys I want to mention. Carter Allers finished out his home regular season career with a 11 tack performance, and so I want you to talk about Carter a little bit. And then if you follow that up, Drew Jackson had 2 sacks yesterday, and he's kind of stepped up, and he's helped the defense for you.
Well, both those guys. Carter's been here 5 years. I think what I really respect is when you watch Carter's one of those guys that just goes and plays. He'll come in the training room to get some things fixed up, but when you see him tackle somebody and get up, you realize what kind of pain he's playing with. They know out of this linebacker core we are so injured, and then the guys that are playing through injury. And so you never feel like you're playing 100%, and so they're out there battling. And to see Carter with what I know, he doesn't say it, and he tries to hide it, couldn't be more proud of a kid to go out and have 11 tackles, and every time he stands up, you know that he's paying for it.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show his heart, his love for this team. You know, he's playing for Cameron. All the linebackers are playing their tails off for him, and man, that's why when you go home and you hate losing and getting your butt kicked, but you start seeing you know, people that are frustrated, fans, they don't kind of get to experience the things behind the scenes like that really keep it all in perspective for me and for our coaching staff, that it is still a game, and our objectives are high and our standards are high, but it's still a game, and we're going to keep things in perspective and then do our best, because I'm as frustrated as anybody when we lose,
Right.
Because I want to win just like everybody else. But we're the ones that are going to try to figure out a way to still put them in a position where they can reach their goal. And sometimes we forget because we won so early. And here we've dropped a couple in 3 weeks, so we're out of our comfort zone, and people think that we're falling apart, and we don't feel that way. We just happened to run across the juggernaut yesterday and played bad, and that combination doesn't work well.
No.
And so we will bounce back, and that's what I'm excited to get to work this week.
Drew Jackson, talk about
And
what.
Drew it's been fun to see Drew. Came here as a linebacker. We felt like his strength would be in moving him forward on the D line and giving us some depth there. And boy, has he risen to the occasion. And you know, he had a big play a couple weeks ago with a pick six, and he's had a couple sacks yesterday, and he's happy being here. I mean, he loves it here. And Drew first got here, he got homesick quick and was starting to second guess if he should be here. Now he just loves it, and you love to see those things. And he's playing his tail off for us right now.
You know, I always, finishing up on this final question about accountability, post-game, Luke Papillion and John Tidwell, two team captains, stepped up and visited with the media, and there's no excuses coming out of them, and that's what you're saying here today. So on a positive standpoint, that being one of them, talk about your team and what they're going to do moving forward as we move toward Upper Iowa.
Well, you're right. We're doing our best to not let excuses creep in. Here's the deal: you're going to have reality, but then you can't run from reality. You got to try to figure out another plan. That's what's kind of the exciting part about coaching. We are a different team in week 9 and 10 than we were week 1. That being said, our hearts are the same. Our fight is the same. But what we do on Tuesday is we come out to practice with another game plan and building upon our positives and making adjustments where we need to make adjustments. And we've had to do that week in and week out, especially defensively, moving guys around a lot. We keep stressing to this team, you got to get cohesive as soon as you can. We've got some new faces and spots and things, but you got to trust in that guy, and that's what we'll do this week as well. We're going to be playing a team who likes to pass the ball around a little bit, so we didn't do well yesterday, so we're going to stress that like crazy this week. We can feel like we can shut down a run game when we need to, but like I said, it's back to the drawing board, and we're going to be encouraged to do it.
Fans, once again, game time at Fayette, Iowa next Saturday. That's November 14th. It'll be a noon game. Then the Cougars return home, and then the following day is the announcement for the NCAA playoffs. Thanks, Jed.
Thanks, Dan.